The Fantasy Skirmisher.
Prophecy was published back in 2007 by Vlaada Chivatil, and it is very much a Talisman-esque game. I've always called it Talisman with purposeful movement, but there's some other key differences as well. The premise of Prophecy is that there was a long reign of kings, and the kingdom was healthy, prosperous, peaceful, until the last king left as heirs his three sons. And so the three sons basically started feuding, and the eldest son released demons by opening up astral planes, which you can see here ringing the map, and just devastated the land. And then 900 years later, perhaps one of you could be that heir and fulfill the prophecy and restore the kingdom to peace by becoming the monarch. I have the map set up and ready to go for a solitaire two-player game. But before we look at the map and the setup, let's just take a look at the type of characters you could play. So we have an enchantress, a mercenary, mystic, an illusionist, a ranger, a wandering monk, a paladin, and a scout. And of course, got the two that I'm going to play. I've got the druid and a spell blade. Now let's take a little bit closer look here. So we've got a space to put our experience as well as our gold. Also, red cubes represent strength and health. And also the blue cubes represent willpower and magic. And one thing I think is really neat about this is that when you spend or lose something like health or magic, spend magic, the cubes get moved from the right side of the character to the left. And so that is how you know how much health you have left or magic cubes. So I think that's kind of a neat and elegant way to kind of keep track of that. You will also notice that there's two locations listed for each character. So in this case, with the spell blade, she's set up in the fortress, which is the first guild space, but she's also a guild of the magic tower. So one thing you'll see that unlike Talisman, that these characters don't start with these special ability or special abilities. They have to train at the various locations, such as the fortress or the magic tower in the case of the spellblade, or the forest camp or the monastery in the case of the druid, and learn abilities. And the abilities are learned through these cards, which are ability cards. I really like the way it handles abilities by the different characters belonging to different guilds, because it just creates a lot of more variety each time. You could play the same character and it won't play the same twice because they're going to learn different skills and have different abilities. Now, as far as setup is concerned, obviously if you got your character, you get the appropriate number of magic cubes, which is listed, as well as your strength and health. And you start with 3 experience and 3 coins. And then you place them on the appropriate space. And then in each of the astral planes, you're going to have a lesser guardian, a major guardian, a greater guardian, and an artifact. If you could defeat both guardians, you'll get the artifact, and that is what you need to win. So in the basic game, the base game, you need to control or own 4 out of the 5 artifacts to win the game. So at the end of the game, you're going to have this final battle against the other characters to try to defeat them and steal their artifacts. But there is a variant rule for a much shorter game where the first character to collect 2 artifacts wins the game. And that's what I'm going to be doing, because like Talisman, Prophecy can overstay its welcome. So the map of the kingdom, is circular here, as you could see. And it's got, the blue spaces, which are locations such as the city, monastery, magic tower, village, forest camp, and fortress. And these spaces have different things that you could do in them based on the icons here. So for example, in the city, instead of moving, You could pay 1 magic to get 2 coins. And you could also, because of the money bag symbol here, you can also purchase rare items. Up here in the village, you could purchase common items, and for 1 coin, you could heal 1 health, you can regain 1 magic, and some areas like the village have a dove symbol. And the dove symbol means that it's a safe location. You cannot be attacked by other players while you're there. So unlike Talisman, these locations where you could do things, 1, it's optional, and 2, there's no push your luck element where you might be forced to have to roll on a table and turn into a toad or something like that. It's not here in this game. We talked about setting up the character boards, and to set up the map, what you would do is you would reveal 1 ability card for each location that we did here. So there's Forest Wisdom of cost of 7, which gives you a special ability. And then so on and so forth. Thieves Guild, Magic Tower, Monastery, and Fortress. And then what you do is draw 1 chance card. That's what the question mark cards are. And here I drew a plains. Place a new adventure card in every plains space. So what you do is you keep drawing cards until you get a wilderness area, and then you'll place an adventure card. And adventure cards are very much like the adventure cards in Talisman. And you place them face up in that area. In this case, I placed 1 face up in all the plains. So here we've got ruins, and then we've got a leprechaun over here in this plain space, an ancient scroll that's pretty close to the Spellblade character, and we do have a creature in this one right here. So we have an escaped murderer with a strength of 2 and a willpower of 3. So kind of think of it as, strength and craft, right, in Talisman. And if you defeat this character, this humanoid, you get 2 experience points. And then it's got special instructions and what reward, if any, if you succeed. So kind of neat. Oh, and of course the one right next to the Spellblade, Ghostly Spirits. So only 1 XP, but 1 willpower, and has 3 lives. And Despair special ability. Before each roll of the dice, lose 1 magic. Ouch. So I think that would be a creature for the Druid, which has more magic cubes to go after. So we are ready to play the game, and we got a really handy summary sheet which goes over the game round. It's very simple. Draw a card, move, battle with a creature, optionally battle with another character if you're on the same space, or use the possibility of that space. Again, that would be the different areas where you could choose to pay gold for health or things like that. And then I got the battle sequence, which we'll go over for the creatures and other characters, very much like a Talisman. And then we've got, shows the different types of cards. So we've got creatures, abilities, and items. So very handy. At the start of the player's turn, the first thing you do is draw a chance card. So we'll do that right now. And this one says good times. Gain 4 gold. All other players gain 2 gold. Very nice. So what we'll do is pull 4 gold from the cup, put it in the Spellblades area, and pull 2 for the Druid. All right, now it is time for her move. And there's lots of different ways for her to move. So like I said, this game has purposeful movement. So for no cost, you can move to an adjacent space. So I can move to the plains where the ghostly spirits are and try to battle them. I could go to the mountains where there's nothing. Or what I can do is not move and stay put and encounter the space I'm already in. For 1 gold, you can move 2 spaces. So for the 1 gold, you're basically hiring a horse. So that would take me to the magic wilderness where I could recharge magic, or I could move to where this ancient scroll is in the plains, which sounds pretty good. Now for 2 gold, I could move from a magic gate to any other magic gate. So there's certain locations, such as here in the city, in the mountains over here, the forest over here, and the magic wilderness. For the 2 gold, you can move from one portal to the next. So I could just go from the city all the way over here to the mountains at the top of the map. Also, for 1 gold, I can move from a port to an adjacent port. So let's just say I was in the city, and you can see it has a anchor marker here. So it shows that this is a port. Well, I would, for 1 gold, be able to move, for example, to the plains here, which has a port. So, like I said, there's lots of different ways to get to where you need to go. I love Talisman, but it can be frustrating as hell when you're trying to go exactly 3 spaces and it takes you, 7 turns to get to that one space you need to go because you didn't roll a 3. Now, since I am swimming in gold, I am going to spend 1 to hire a horse and then move to the plains here. And the ancient scroll says, announce how much magic you use to decipher the scroll. Roll a die and add it to the magic expended. If the total is 7 or more, gain 1 willpower from the bank. Now, I've only have 4 willpower. I think I'm going to spend 3. Let's see, it's a little bit of a gamble, right? So I'm going to roll the die, and I need to get 7 or more. Oh, only 5. Oh, well. So if the total is 7 or more, I gain 1 willpower from the bank. I did not get a willpower, and I lost 3 magic. So there it sits, which is unfortunate. And now my turn is done, and it's the druid's turn. And so the chance card is drawn. It is Tradesman. The village received new goods, 3 new common items. Discard all older items in the village. So this will get discarded. And let's move over here. So we've got the village, we've got the common items right here. So we have a sword, a scroll of altered reality, and potion of regeneration. So they'll be placed here in the village, ready for purchase. Nice. Okay, so we are back to the druid. He's going to move to the mountains there because there's a port that'll give him some ability to get around to do other things on the next turn. And back to Spellblade. She's going to do the same thing, moving into the city. I need to do a combat example now. Oops, I got to back up. She needs to draw a card first. Her chance card, which is Forest. Place a new adventure card in every forest space. So this will be done face down, because that way we won't know what we get into until we land. All right, so got one here, 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 and here. And then she moves to the city, and it's back to the druid. Now the druid draws a chance card, and it has put a new adventure card in every plane space. So we already have a card in the plane space, only 2 cards per space, and these cards in the planes will be placed face down. So there may be a situation where you might have to fight 2 monsters. And what's hiding under the leprechaun? I don't know. And what is inside the ruins? Good question. Okay, so it is now the druid. I think, well, if he spends 2 gold, he spends 1 gold. He's going to go to the village. And he's got 3 gold left. And what do we have here? Potion of regeneration. heal up to 1 health and recharge up to 2 magic. That's nice. Or you can read this scroll after any die roll, yours or an opponent's, and re-roll the die. Both are pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is do the Potion of Regeneration. And so he's going to purchase that for his last 3 gold. And that is his turn. Back to Spellblade. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play this game off camera until I come across a legit combat situation. In the very next turn, Spellblade moves to the plains here, and the ghostly spirits are already here, but the upside down card turns out to be a Golem Guardian. It's a demon with 3 experience points if you defeat it, strength 4, and the Spellblade has a strength of 4, and she has no weapons, so this is going to be a straight up roll. And the reason I want to highlight this combat before I do it is that these creatures have personalities. So this golem right here says that skin of stone. If you use a weapon, it becomes damaged after the battle. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, Spellblade does not have a weapon yet. And if I win, I roll a die, 1 to 3 common item, 4 to 6, I could get a rare item. And then we've got Ghostly Spirits, which has 3 lives, meaning I have to roll in a combat of willpower 3 separate times and win all 3 times to get this reward, which is gain 1 strength from the bank. All right, so I think I'm going to start with the Golem, and the Golem is going to be the black die. Characters will be the white dice, and so we're going to go ahead and roll. Oh, and look at this. 2 6s. It is a tie, so nothing happens here. Because I rolled and got a draw here, my turn ends, and I'm not able to fight the ghostly spirits. So that is it. So around we go, defeating creatures to earn experience points, then using the experience to learn new skills at a guild, earning gold to buy equipment in the city or village, building up your strength and willpower, and when you think you're ready, travel to the astral planes to wage battle against the guardians to obtain an epic artifact. Then the final battle begins, battling other players to steal their artifacts. Will you fulfill the prophecy and rule the realm? I don't get prophecy on the table that often, but when I do, I forget how much I really like this game. To be honest, I was planning on selling my copy as soon as I made this video and playing it for one last time, because I'm trying to pare down my collection. But I don't think I could do that. I think it's a keeper. Especially I got the 2014 latest edition game, but you could find them pretty readily on the secondary market, and they're not that much. I've seen a range from basically $20 to $40, $50 most. But with that said, this is not going to replace Talisman. I have the 4th edition, well, the 3rd and 4th edition, and I plan to sell the 5th edition. But the 4th edition just has so many expansions that it's infinitely replayable for me. This game comes with 2 expansions, which I'm not interested in getting in, and I don't know how much they would be on the secondary market. But one's like an underworld realm, and the other one is, I think it's called Dragon Realm, something like that. But what I do like about Prophecy is that it has a small footprint. So this is my 3x3 tabletop table here, which is great for skirmish games. Not so good for board games, but here I could fit everything with plenty of room left over. So that's a big plus for me. Prophecy is got a lot of variant rules, so you could play co-op, or like I'm playing it, a shorter version where the first to collect 2 artifacts wins the game, versus 4 out of 5 and having a big final battle at the end. That could take a long time, especially if you have multiple players. I think this is a more family-friendly game than Talisman because it's less mean. And I know the 5th edition of Talisman is less mean. They've nerfed a bunch of cards like, or mechanics like the Toad and the Hag Follower, things like that. But Prophecy comes with basic rules just 4 pages, in addition to the full rule book here, which is 20 pages long. And a lot of this is an index, so that way if you have any questions about cards or anything like that, or items, you could just look at the appendix and get some more information. So it's a fun system. I do like the way it handles character development, because you've got these guilds, and 5 different guilds, and each character belongs to 2 of them, where you can build up your skills as you see fit, and the skills available that you spend experience points on differ each game. So there is a lot of replayability. The one negative I have for this game is really a minor quibble, and that's the game board can get cluttered quite a bit with cards that are on the map. But with that said, I think it's a great adventure game, and I suggest you give it a whirl. If you get it, don't like it, of course, you could always sell it. All right, guys, it was good to see you, and please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time on the Fantasy Skirmisher. Bye-bye.